I'm going to do a video tutorial today on how to follow a corner to corner crochet pattern. So this is my quick little pattern that I've made a mock-up of here. So with corner to corner, you basically do each block and you start at one corner and you work all the way up. So you start here and then you work down and back up. So to start this little one here, we'll start, so I've got my yarn. So we want to start by doing a chain of 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we want to include our first 3 chains, which act as one of our double crochets. So then we want to count 1, 2, 3. So we want to go crochet into the third one. So a double crochet. So yarn over, in. So 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, and then 3 double crochets. Oops. So that is our first little one, which represents this square here. So then now what we do is we flip it over and then we do another chain of 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we want to do the same thing. So we want to chain, double crochet 1, it's a little bit fiddly at the start, 2, and then 3. Oops. So then this one here now represents this one here. So then what we want to do is we want to slip stitch into this space. So now we're in the space here. And then we want to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we want to do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Great. And then we turn it over. So now we've got 3, which represents these 3. So I'm going to keep going until we get to the red. Alright, so we've done this much now. And I also find that to follow my pattern easier, I like to draw arrows. So I know when I'm going down and when I'm going up. Just makes it a little bit easier to follow. So now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one here is this one here. So now we're going to be going up this way here. So same thing again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're going to slip stitch in. And now we need to change to red. Now there's a couple of different ways to do it, but the way I like to do it is without snipping the yarn. I just leave the yellow attached, and then my next color that I'm going to bring in is red. So I leave a large tail just so it doesn't unthread, and you want to just pop it behind the tail and then just place your yellow down, and then you want to pick up your red. So sorry, I've accidentally made a mistake. So before you slip stitch in, when you're just on this one here, is when you want to do that step. So yellow down, red in. So you want to go into your one and you want to pick up your red, and then you want to pull it through your yellow, and then just hold the back and just make sure it's sort of tight, and then you want to do your chain 3, and then your 3 double crochets. So this red here represents this one red, so we're going to do 4 reds, and then we'll come back to when we switch back to yellow. Alright, so we've done our 4 reds, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we want to switch back to yellow. So put the red down, you just pick up yellow, and then into your one, and you slip stitch your yellow back through, and now just make sure it's not too tight. So you've picked up your yellow, 2, 3, so then we've changed colour. So you'll need to designate one side as the back or the front. So before ours gets too complicated, we can flick those around and designate that it goes with the pattern. So all the ends will be on the one side. So we can just pull that one through. It just makes it a bit easier to sort of keep track of where all your ends are without it getting too messy, and just keep all the ends on one side. So we'll meet you back here and we'll show switching back. Alright, so we've done this one, and now we're doing this one down. So we've done our first yellow, and now we've got to switch back to red. So we've done our yellow, and now we drop, and then we pick up our red. We'll get a little bit messy with your ends. So then we go in and we pick up our red, we pull it through. So now we've got red, 2, 3, so that's this one here, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 3 more reds. So now we're down here into this square here, so we're going to switch back to yellow. So we drop our red, and then you go into slip stitch, Great. So now we've got that. So I'm going to keep going to the next. So we'll go all the way up, and when I get to here, so now that we're at the top, we want to start decreasing. So I'll talk through that. All right, so I've just finished this one, which you can see represents this one here. So because we're not increasing up anymore, we need to start decreasing to close in on the square. So I've just finished my 3rd double crochet into this space. So then what we do is we slip stitch into this space here. So slip stitch, so in, and then pull, and then again, and then we're going to do this square here. So then what we need to do is we need to do our 3 chains, and then our 3 double crochets. And you can see that that has made that little bit there, our little corner, which represents there. So then I'm going to go down to the end, and then once we get down to the end we need to do the same thing, so I'll see you back there. So we're at this spot here, so we've just done our 3 yellows going down. So once again, because we're not increasing again, we need to start decreasing. So next we're going to work on this one. So once again we're just going to slip stitch in, and then do our 3 chains, so there we are. So if we hold it like this, you can see this square here represents this one here. So now we're going up because we've just finished coming down. So now we're going up, and then we just keep going all the way until we get to the end. So you can see here it's finished, matches our little grid. So this is with a 3.5 hook and just normal 8-ply yarn using double crochets. There'll be another video on if you want to do it like slightly smaller using half double crochets. So to calculate how big your blanket's going to be, so it'll obviously be dependent on the hook size you use, the yarn you use, but what you can do, so for example with this one, if we wanted to count 1 2 3 4 5, so we've got 5. If we measure in centimeters, so we've got about 6.5. So if we then divided our 6.5 by 5, it will give us how big in centimeters each square is. And then say, you know, your blanket is 100 squares by 100 squares, you can then calculate how big it's going to be based off that. What I like to do if this was a bigger project is I like to do just a little single crochet around just to sort of finish it off, just to give it a nice even edge around. So you could do that around, or you could do, you know, whatever you wanted to fill it out and make a bit of a border. You've also got all your ends now. So what I do, so you can see here of where it's bridged each time, so you can just snip and you can just tie them off and tuck them all in. If you're making, like, say, a big blanket where you're going to be putting a backing on it, you can just leave your ends as they are if you wish to. And instead of doing this sort of style of bringing your wool across each time, what some people do if they're doing a corner to corner project is they'll just cut their wool each time and then tie it, and then they've got those ends to tie off. So it's a personal preference how you like to do that, but that is a corner to corner following a pattern with double crochets and a 3.5 hook 8-ply yarn.